What if I told you that calmness is the highest form of power? When others are angry, you remain composed. When others panic, you think clearly. When the world tries to knock you down, you stand even stronger. This is the power of Stoicism, an ancient philosophy that shaped emperors, warriors, and great leaders, not through wealth or status, but through self-mastery. If you want a mind that cannot be shaken, if you want to stop being a slave to your emotions, then these 10 Stoic lessons can change the way you face life forever. Let's explore them together. 1. Embracing the power of acceptance. The first lesson of Stoicism is simple, yet life-changing. Accept reality as it is. Much of our suffering does not come from events themselves, but from our resistance to them. We argue with what has already happened. We replay situations in our minds. We wish things were different. But the Stoics remind us, reality is not asking for our approval. As Epictetus said, don't demand that things happen as you wish, but wish that they happen as they do happen, and you will go on well. Acceptance is not weakness, it is strength. It is the courage to face facts without emotional collapse. When you accept what you cannot change, you free your energy to act on what you can. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." The moment you stop fighting reality, you regain control of yourself, and that is where true calm begins. 2. Focus on what you can control. One of the most powerful teachings of Stoicism is the dichotomy of control. Some things are up to us, and some things are not. You cannot control other people's opinions. You cannot control the economy, the weather, or the past. But you can control your judgments, your choices, and your actions. As Epictetus began his Enchiridion, some things are in our control and others not. Peace begins the moment you stop trying to control what isn't yours to command. Anxiety often comes from placing your energy in the wrong place, worrying about outcomes, approval, or circumstances beyond your reach. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." When you shift your focus inward toward your character, your effort, your response, you become stable, unshaken, grounded. Control your mind, let go of the rest, and you will discover a calm that no external chaos can disturb. 3. Cultivate emotional resilience. Stoicism does not teach you to eliminate emotions. It teaches you to master them. Life will test you. You will face criticism, loss, disappointment, and uncertainty. The question is not whether challenges will come. The question is, how will you respond? Emotional resilience is the ability to remain steady when circumstances are not. Seneca wrote, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." Much of our emotional turmoil comes from the stories we tell ourselves, the fears we exaggerate, the outcomes we assume. The Stoics trained themselves to pause before reacting. Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space lies your power. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." When you stop reacting impulsively and start responding deliberately, you build inner strength. You become less fragile, less shaken by words, events, or setbacks. Emotional resilience is not coldness, it is controlled strength. 4. Practice gratitude and contentment. In a world that constantly tells you that you need more, Stoicism teaches the opposite. Learn to appreciate what you already have. Endless desire creates endless dissatisfaction.
The more you chase external things, status, wealth, validation, the more restless your mind becomes. But when you shift your focus to gratitude, something changes. You begin to feel grounded. Enough. Seneca wisely said, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor." Contentment is not complacency. It does not mean you stop growing. It means your peace is no longer dependent on acquiring something new. You can strive for improvement while still appreciating the present moment. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, "Receive without pride, let go without attachment." When you practice gratitude daily for your health, your time, even your challenges, you train your mind to see abundance instead of lack. And a grateful mind is a calm mind. A content heart is a steady one. That is true Stoic wealth. 5. Let go of attachment to outcomes. One of the deepest sources of anxiety is attachment to results, to recognition, to things going exactly as planned. Stoicism teaches a different approach. Focus on your effort, not the outcome. You control your actions, you control your discipline, but the final result? That is influenced by countless external factors beyond your command. Epictetus said, "Make the best use of what is in your power and take the rest as it happens." When you attach your happiness to a specific result, you give away your peace. But when you commit fully to the process, doing your best with integrity, you become free. Even Marcus Aurelius reminded himself to act rightly without being disturbed by success or failure. Just that you do the right thing, the rest doesn't matter. Detachment does not mean you stop caring, it means you stop clinging. You give your full effort and then you let go. And in that release, you find calm. 6. Practice negative visualization. At first, it may sound strange. Why would you imagine losing what you love? But the Stoics practiced something called negative visualization, not to become pessimistic, but to become prepared. They would reflect on the possibility of loss, health, success, even loved ones, to remind themselves that nothing is guaranteed. This practice builds gratitude and emotional strength. Seneca advised, "He robs present ills of their power who has perceived them coming beforehand." When you mentally prepare for difficulties, you are less shocked when they arrive. You respond with steadiness instead of panic. Even Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Begin each day by telling yourself, 'Today I shall meet with interference, ingratitude, insolence, disloyalty, ill will, and selfishness.'" This was not negativity, it was preparation. By expecting challenges, you reduce their emotional impact. By imagining loss, you appreciate what you have today. Negative visualization trains your mind to remain calm, not because nothing bad will happen, but because you are ready if it does. 7. Live in accordance with nature. To the Stoics, living in accordance with nature meant living in harmony with reality, not denying it, not fighting it, but understanding your role within it. Nature has its laws. There are cycles of growth and decline, success and failure, pleasure and pain. Resisting these cycles only creates suffering. Seneca advised, "Live a good life. If there are gods and they are just, then they will not care how devout you have been, but will welcome you based on the virtues you have lived by." Living according to nature means acting with reason, integrity, and virtue, because reason is what makes us human. Epictetus also reminded us, "Don't seek for events to happen as you wish, but wish them to happen as they do happen." When you align yourself with reality, instead of demanding that reality align with you, something shifts. You stop arguing with life, you adapt, you move with it, and in that alignment you find stability. because calm comes naturally when you stop resisting what simply is. 8. Develop wisdom through self-improvement. The Stoics believed that wisdom is built through constant self-examination and improvement. Every day is an opportunity to refine your character, correct your mistakes, and become a little better than you were yesterday. Seneca practiced nightly reflection. He wrote, "When the light has been removed and my wife has fallen silent, I examine my entire day and go back over what I've done and said." This habit of honest self-review builds awareness, and awareness builds wisdom. Epictetus reminded his students, first say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. Growth does not happen by accident. It requires intention, discipline, humility. When you commit to improving your thoughts, your habits, and your responses, you slowly strengthen your inner foundation. And a wise mind, trained through daily effort, becomes a calm and steady mind. 9. Find strength in adversity. Stoicism teaches that obstacles are not interruptions of life, they are part of it. Most people see hardship as something unfair, something to avoid, but the Stoics saw difficulty as training, a test of character, an opportunity to grow stronger. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Adversity reveals who you are. It exposes your weaknesses, but it also gives you the chance to build resilience, patience, and courage. Seneca said, "Difficulties strengthen the mind as labor does the body." Without resistance, there is no strength. Without challenge, there is no growth. When you begin to see problems as teachers instead of enemies, your mindset shifts. You stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and start asking, "What is this teaching me?" And in that shift, you discover something powerful. Hardship does not break you, it builds you. 10. Nurture the Stoic virtue of temperance. At the heart of Stoicism lies one essential virtue: temperance, self-control. Temperance is the ability to remain balanced, not overindulging in pleasure, not being consumed by anger, not reacting impulsively to every emotion. It is mastery over yourself. Epictetus warned, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Without self-control, we become slaves to desire, fear, and impulse. We say things we regret. We chase things we don't truly need. We allow emotions to dictate our actions. But temperance creates stability. It allows you to pause before speaking, to think before reacting, to choose long-term wisdom over short-term satisfaction. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Temperance is that power in action. When you cultivate self-discipline, moderation, and inner balance, you become steady, not extreme, strong, not reactive. And in that steady strength, you find true Stoic calm.